I lied about being assaulted because I wanted attention, and I hate myself for it. I blurted out the lie before I could stop myself. I was assaulted last night, I said, my voice shaking with a mix of real fear and manufactured drama. My best friend's eyes went wide with horror, and within seconds, she wrapped me in a tight hug. She believed me. I could feel her heart pounding as she held me, and that's when the sick truth hit me. I had just told the biggest lie of my life, and there was no way to take it back. I never actually wanted to hurt anyone. It's not like I woke up planning to deceive the people I love. But I was drowning in loneliness and self-loathing. I was desperate for someone to notice me, to care about me for once. For months I'd felt invisible, at home, at school, everywhere. My parents were always busy or emotionally distant, my friends had their own problems, and I was just background noise. So in a moment of emotional desperation, I did something unforgivable. I invented a personal tragedy. I told my best friend that I had been sexually assaulted by a stranger because I craved the attention and sympathy I thought it would bring. The moment those words left my mouth, I regretted it, but it was too late. My friend's concern was already all over her face, and I had no choice but to continue the charade. "Oh my God, are you okay? What happened? Where?" Em, my best friend, bombarded me with questions, her voice trembling. I hadn't thought this through at all. My heart thundered in my chest as I stumbled through a vague story. I said I was walking home, and some guy came out of nowhere. That I got away after a struggle. Fragments of lies tumbled out of me, and Em listened with tears in her eyes. I felt absolutely sick with guilt even as I kept lying. "We have to tell someone," Em insisted as soon as I finished my shaky tale. "We should go to the police, or at least tell your mom. He can't get away with this." No, this was spiraling beyond anything I anticipated. I only wanted a bit of sympathy, not a full-blown investigation. Panic seized me. If we went to the police, they'd ask for details and evidence, things I obviously didn't have. I shook my head frantically. I can't, I whispered. I can't handle that. I want to forget it happened. Please, don't tell anyone." Em looked torn, but she hugged me again. "Okay. I won't force you," she murmured, "but you shouldn't have to carry this alone. If you won't talk to the police, at least let me take you to a counselor or tell your mom. You need support." She was trying to help, truly. She thought she was doing what was best for me. I just nodded weakly, hoping that would satisfy her. Inside, I was dying. I thought maybe, after a day or two, I could quietly say it was a misunderstanding or something and make the lie go away. Deep down, I knew it wouldn't be that simple, but I clung to any hope. That night, Em slept over at my house because she didn't want me to be alone. She was so gentle with me, bringing me water, letting me cry on her shoulder. The tears were real, even if the reason wasn't. My mom was working an overnight shift, so thankfully I didn't have to explain anything to family yet. I hardly slept. I lay next to my best friend, staring at the ceiling, feeling like the absolute worst person in the world. I kept thinking, why did I do it? Why? But I knew why. I was starved for care, and I lied to get it. The guilt of that kept me up all night, trembling. The next morning, I hoped maybe Em would let the subject drop, but no such luck. As soon as we got to school, she guided me, not to class, but straight to the guidance counselor's office. My stomach dropped. "You don't have to say anything if you don't want to," she whispered, "but I really think we should be here. They can help." Before I could protest, I was sitting in the counselor's room with Em by my side, and Em was haltingly explaining that I'd been sexually assaulted. The counselor's face fell into an expression of shock and compassion. She gently asked me if I was okay, if I needed medical attention, and if I felt safe. I could barely meet her eyes. My voice came out in a brittle whisper as I lied that I wasn't physically hurt, just shaken. I stuck to my vague story about a dark-clothed stranger. Every word tasted like dirt. I wished I could just vanish. Because I was a minor reporting an assault, the counselor told me she was required to inform the authorities and my parents. Hearing that made my heart leap into my throat. "Please, no," I begged, my eyes wide with real fear. "I'm not ready. I don't want them to know." I was on the verge of a full panic attack. But it was out of my hands now. Within an hour, my mother was at the school, frantic and in tears, and 2 police officers were brought in to take my statement. I'll never forget the look on my mom's face when she rushed into that office and hugged me. She was crying so hard she could barely speak. I'm here," she kept saying. I broke down crying too. She assumed it was because I was relieved to see her, but really it was guilt choking me. I didn't deserve her love and concern, not for a lie. The police interview was one of the worst experiences of my life, and I brought it on myself. A kind detective asked me question after question, trying to get any detail that could help them find the bastard who did this to me. I had to make up answers on the spot for everything. What did he look like? I mumbled that it was dark, and I only remembered a rough height and that he wore a hoodie. Did he rape me? I shook my head, lying that I fought him off before it went that far. Did I have any injuries? I showed them a bruise on my arm as proof of him grabbing me. It was actually a mark I'd given myself the night before from anxiously digging my nails in. I watched the officers' faces harden with determination to catch the monster who hurt me. My mom held my hand through the whole thing, crying quietly and telling me I was so brave. It was absolutely soul-crushing. I hated myself more with each lie, but I felt trapped in it, unable to blurt out the truth. After I gave my statement, the police assured us they would do everything they could to find the perpetrator. They said things like, "You're very brave for speaking up, and this wasn't your fault." My mom just kept thanking them and thanking the counselor, while I sat there silent and hollow, wishing I could drop dead. When we finally left the school, my mom drove me home. She insisted I take a few days off school. The school administration already knew and were very understanding. My dad had left work to meet us at home too. The moment I walked in the door, he pulled me into a gentle hug. I felt his arms shaking. He was furious that someone had hurt his little girl. "We'll get him, I promise," Dad kept saying, eyes wet. "I'll make sure he pays for this." I just clung to him, crying into his chest, unable to say anything. I kept thinking, if he knew I was lying, he would despise me. In the days that followed, the fallout of my lie spread through every part of my life. News travels fast in our community. By the end of that week, almost everyone at school knew what happened to me. Teachers treated me with extra kindness, giving me extensions on homework, telling me to rest and take care of myself. Classmates, even people who never spoke to me before, came up to offer support or say they were sorry. My phone blew up with messages of concern. I should have felt grateful to be so cared for, but all I felt was suffocating guilt. This was all attention I had forced out of people through deception. It felt wrong because it was wrong. I also knew I was insulting every real victim of assault with my lie. People were rallying around me, a fraud, while somewhere out there real survivors might not be believed. The knowledge made me loathe myself even more. Em was like my personal guardian angel through all of this. She rarely left my side unless absolutely necessary. She walked me to classes, ate lunch with me, even spoke up to deflect nosy questions from other students. One guy in our grade crudely asked if I was raped or just assaulted, and Em nearly took his head off yelling at him to shut up. She was fiercely loyal, fiercely protective, and every time I saw how much she cared about me, I wanted to scream the truth and beg for her forgiveness. But I was too much of a coward to do it. My family hovered over me with concern as well. My mom wouldn't let me out of her sight when she was home. I'd catch her crying quietly when she thought I wasn't looking. My dad was on a mission, talking to neighbors and friends, trying to find any information that could help the police. He was consumed with guilt that he hadn't been there to protect me. Watching my parents suffer because of my lie was like a knife twisting in my gut every single minute. I started to unravel. I couldn't sleep without nightmares. Though the nightmares weren't of an attack, they were of everyone discovering I lied and turning against me. I'd wake up in a cold sweat, heart racing. During the day, I had frequent panic attacks. I'd lock myself in the bathroom, sobbing and hyperventilating, feeling like I was losing my mind. My skin erupted in stress hives, and I scratched at my arms and legs in my sleep until they were covered in red marks. I lost my appetite completely. Every time I tried to eat, I'd feel like vomiting, knowing all this love and care I was receiving was built on a disgusting lie. I nearly broke down and told the truth so many times. Once, about a week after the incident, my older sister, who's away at college, drove home to see me. That night, she sat on my bed rubbing my back as I cried, and I came this close to blurting it all out. I wanted to tell her, "Nothing happened to me. I made it up. I'm so sorry." But I couldn't force the words out. I was paralyzed by the fear of losing my family's love and everyone's respect. So I stayed silent, and she eventually just said, "I love you. You're so strong," and went to sleep. I hated myself more than ever in that moment. 2 weeks have passed now, and I am at my breaking point. My mental health is in free fall. I cry every day. I jump whenever the phone rings, terrified it's the police calling with an update that will unravel my story, or worse, that they've caught some innocent person based on my lies. I'm haunted by the idea that this lie could end up hurting someone else too. What if they suspect some poor guy who happens to resemble the attacker I invented? What if an innocent person gets arrested or blamed because of me? The thought makes me sick to my stomach. I don't know how I'd live with myself if that happened. I'm anxious, depressed, and utterly consumed by guilt. The weight of what I've done is crushing me. Lately, I've started having the darkest thoughts. I find myself wondering if it would be better if I just wasn't here anymore. I think about the bottle of pills in the medicine cabinet or the sharp knives in the kitchen, and a sick kind of calm comes over me at the idea of making this all stop. If I died, maybe everyone could grieve and move on without ever learning the ugly truth. They'd think I couldn't handle the trauma. No one would ever have to know that there was no trauma, that I was the real monster. A part of me actually believes that would be the most selfless thing I've done in a long time. to take myself out of the equation so my lie never hurts anyone any further. I haven't acted on those thoughts, and I'm not sure I will. A big reason is that even in my lowest moments, I know how much it would devastate my family and Em if I did something like that. They've already been through enough pain because of me, so I'm here instead writing this out in anonymity because I can't carry it alone anymore. This is my confession. I lied about being assaulted because I wanted attention. I am a horrible person for doing it, and not a day goes by that I don't regret it deeply. I see the damage I've caused, the emotional wreckage in my wake, and I hate myself for it. I wish I could take it back, but I can't. I don't know what to do. If I tell the truth now, I'll lose everyone and probably face serious consequences. If I keep lying, I'll never be able to live with myself. I feel completely trapped and hopeless. I'm so sorry to everyone I hurt. And if anyone out there reads this, please never do what I did. No amount of attention is worth the agony I'm going through. I wouldn't wish this guilt on my worst enemy. Update 1. It's been a little while since I confessed here. I wish I had good news, but things have only gotten more complicated. Remember how I was terrified the police would find some innocent person to blame? Well, that fear came true. A few days after my original post, the detective on my case called my mom with an update. They had a suspect. My heart practically stopped when I heard that. Apparently, they'd picked up a local man who matched the vague description I gave. He had been spotted lurking near the area around the time I claimed the assault happened. They wanted me to come in to see if I could identify him. I felt like I was going to vomit. This was my absolute worst nightmare coming to life. An innocent person was about to take the fall for my lie. I had no idea who this guy was. He was completely a stranger, but the guilt almost knocked me over. My mom and dad were thrilled by the news, if you can believe it. My dad was practically pacing with righteous anger, eager for me to point this guy out so we can put him away. They thought this would bring me closure. I felt like I was dying inside. At the police station, they set up a lineup for me to view. I was shaking so badly I could hardly stand. Em came with us for support, holding my hand the whole time. Behind the one-way glass, I saw a line of men. One of them fit the vague description I'd given. My stomach flipped. I was supposed to say if I recognized him. I stood there, sweat dripping down my back, my nails digging into my palms. I wanted to tell the truth, right then and there. I opened my mouth, hoping maybe a confession would just burst out, but then I saw my mom's face, so hopeful and anxious, and my dad's fist clenched in anger at the man he thought hurt me. Em was on my other side, silently squeezing my hand. I lost my nerve in an instant. I couldn't do it. I just mumbled, I'm not sure. It all happened so fast, I didn't really see his face. The detective asked me a few more times, in different ways, if I recognized the guy or not. I kept shaking my head and saying, I don't know, I don't think so. My mom looked confused. I think she expected me to immediately ID him and start crying or something. But I just stared at my shoes and refused to give a definitive answer. After a while, the officers exchanged some looks and decided to conclude the lineup. I'm pretty sure they were disappointed. They must have thought they had the right man. They did let that suspect go. I overheard one officer say they had no solid evidence for my case anyway. The man was freed, and I silently thanked every god out there for that. But of course, my parents were upset that my attacker got away. On the drive home, my dad muttered angrily about the rapist getting away while my mom tried to comfort me. I just sat in silence, feeling like garbage. Inside, though, I was so relieved that I hadn't wrongfully identified someone. That small relief was completely drowned by the fact that my lie had led to an innocent person being dragged into an investigation at all. He could have lost his job or reputation over my lie. I'm filled with shame. After that fiasco, my emotional state went from bad to worse. I started having full-blown panic attacks almost every night. I'd wake up gasping for breath, convinced that the police somehow knew I lied and were coming to arrest me. I even began to seriously consider turning myself in to put an end to it all. Consequences be damned. But I was too cowardly to do it outright. Instead, my guilt began leaking out in other ways. I became jumpy, paranoid, and constantly on the verge of tears. Em noticed. How could she not? She's been my shadow ever since this began. She kept asking if I was okay, and I just nodded and lied that I was fine, just shaken from the lineup. Last night, things hit a breaking point. Em was over at my house. She practically lives here these days, always worrying about me. We were supposed to be watching a movie to get my mind off stuff, but I was a million miles away, spiraling in guilt. Out of nowhere, Em muted the TV, turned to me and said, I need to ask you something, and please be honest. Did something actually happen to you that night? My heart stopped. I felt like I had been punched in the gut. What do you mean? I dodged, suddenly unable to look at her. She looked back at me with eyes that were somehow both compassionate and very, very sad. It's just, you've been so different. And at the station, you seemed almost, you didn't seem relieved or vindicated. You seemed terrified. I'm worried there's something you're not telling me. I could not speak. I thought I was about to throw up right there on the couch. My silence must have spoken volumes, because M's expression changed. I saw realization dawn in her face. Her eyes widened. Her mouth fell open a little. "Oh my God," she breathed. "Please tell me you didn't lie about this?" I burst into tears, ugly, racking sobs that I'd been holding in for too long. I couldn't even get a word out. I just cried. M kept saying, No, tell me it isn't true," over and over. She was crying now too, staring at me like I was some kind of monster. Finally, I managed to blubber, I'm sorry." That was all she needed to hear. The hurt and betrayal on her face as she stood up and walked out will haunt me forever. I fell to my knees and begged her not to go, grabbing at her arm. She yanked free. Through tears, she said, "I can't even look at you right now." Then she was gone. So, yeah, M knows everything, or at least the basics. I haven't even fully explained myself to her. She was too disgusted to hear it. I don't blame her. I spent the rest of the night in a daze, replaying the moment her face fell. I have never felt more disgusted with myself. I don't know what's going to happen now. M hasn't answered my texts or calls. I'm terrified she's going to tell someone. Honestly, she should tell someone. Maybe I want her to, in a way. I'm so tired of this. I'm so tired of lying and hurting people. I'll update again when I can. I might have no choice but to come clean to everyone very, very soon. Update 2, I don't even know how to begin this update. My life has basically imploded, and it's all my own doing. If you read my last update, you know that M found out I lied. Well, that set off a chain reaction that has destroyed everything. The morning after M confronted me, I woke up to dozens of missed calls and texts from her. One text stood out, and it made my heart drop. "I'm going to tell your parents. You have to end this. I'm sorry." I panicked. I knew I had to act immediately, or M would do it for me. My parents were at the kitchen table, drinking coffee and looking exhausted. They haven't slept well since the incident. I came downstairs, shaking like a leaf. I thought I might faint, but somehow I forced myself to speak. I told them we needed to talk. I can barely even type what happened next. It's all a blur of raised voices, tears, and so much anger and pain. I confessed. I told my parents that I lied about the assault. At first, they didn't understand. My mom actually tilted her head and said, "What do you mean? It didn't happen." I think she truly couldn't process it. So I said it again, louder, my voice cracking. "I made it up. No one hurt me. I'm so sorry." My dad's face turned red, then white. My mom's eyes went wide as dinner plates. She stood up so fast her chair toppled over. "That's not funny," she snapped, as if I were playing some sick joke. I started sobbing, insisting that it was the truth, that I had lied. I tried to explain that I felt invisible and unloved, and I just wanted attention. But honestly, no explanation was going to be good enough. My mom broke down crying, repeating, How could you do this?" My dad, he lost it. I have never, ever seen him look at me the way he did in that moment, like he hated me. He yelled, "Do you understand what you've done? Do you understand what you put us through? What you put this whole community through?" He was shaking with rage. I genuinely thought he might slap me. He's never hit me in my life, but the anger in his eyes was that intense. Instead, he punched the wall. He punched a hole right through the drywall of our kitchen. My mom jumped at the sound and just kept sobbing. I was a mess of tears and apologies. I have never felt smaller or more horrified at myself. I kept saying, I'm sorry," like a broken record, but it only made my dad angrier. "Sorry? You're sorry?" he shouted. "We rallied around you. We nearly ruined an innocent man. Your mother hasn't slept in weeks. We thought, my God, everyone was terrified for you. And it was all a lie?" I wished a hole would open up beneath me and swallow me whole. My mom just collapsed into a heap on the floor at this point, crying hysterically. I tried to go to her, to touch her shoulder, but she flinched away from me like I was something disgusting. "Don't. Just don't," she said through her sobs. Eventually, my dad stormed out of the house. He said he couldn't look at me right now or he'd do something he regretted. My mom, strangely, went very quiet. She told me in a cold, empty voice, "You will call the detective and tell them what you just told us. And then you will apologize to everyone you've lied to." Then she went upstairs and shut her bedroom door. She hasn't spoken to me since. I did as she said. With shaking hands, I called Detective A, the kind detective who I'd lied to so thoroughly, and I confessed everything to her. She was not happy, to put it mildly. There was a long silence on the phone after I blurted it out, and then she just said, "I see. Thank you for telling the truth. We'll be in touch." I might have heard her sigh heavily before hanging up. I'm pretty sure I've burned every bridge there. I'm also pretty sure I'm in legal trouble. False reporting is a crime, after all. They haven't charged me yet, possibly because I'm a minor, and I turned myself in before they expended more resources. But Detective A made it clear there would be consequences. Honestly, I accept that. I accept whatever punishment comes. After that, I had to start facing the fallout with everyone else. My mom insisted I personally call or meet with a few people to come clean, like our neighbor who organized a safety watch, the school counselor, and of course, M. Making those calls was one of the most humbling and degrading experiences of my life, telling our neighbor, who had been so supportive, bringing our family casseroles and pepper spray for me, that it was all a lie. I could feel her disappointment and disgust through the phone. She kept it civil, but her voice went cold and she simply said, "I see. I hope you get help, and I'll be praying for your family," before hanging up. I promptly burst into tears again. Facing M was even worse. I met her in person because she deserved that. She agreed to meet at a park, but she stood the whole time, arms crossed, like she couldn't wait to walk away. I sobbed and told her everything, my stupid reasons, my guilt, all of it. She didn't say much. She just let me speak until I ran out of words. Then she said, "You know I went to the police for you. I sat with you while you lied to that detective's face. I defended you. I turned my whole life upside down to be there for you." I nodded, bawling, telling her, I know, and I'm so sorry." She wiped her eyes. She was crying too, and her voice broke when she said, "I was your best friend. How could you not trust me with the truth? How could you let me believe?" She didn't finish the sentence. She didn't need to. In the end, M said she doesn't think she can ever forgive me. That was like a knife to the heart, but I expected it. I've betrayed her in the worst way. She walked away while I was mid-sentence trying to apologize again. I don't think we'll ever be friends again. I watched her leave until I couldn't see her anymore, then sat on that park bench and cried for what felt like hours. Now, here I am. The whole school knows the truth. I'm sure it spread like wildfire once my parents informed the administration, and M might have told a few close friends. My phone's been buzzing with new messages, but these aren't like the ones I got before. I looked at a few. They range from calling me an awful person to outright telling me to kill myself. I've been called a attention-seeking psycho, worthless B, *****H, and many words worse than that. I even got a message from the sister of that man who was falsely suspected. She found me on Facebook. She said she hopes I rot in hell for what I did. I have no defense. I told her she was right to hate me. Then I deleted my social media entirely because I can't face what's coming at me. My parents, I have no idea where we stand. My mom won't speak to me or even look at me. She spends most of her time crying behind her closed bedroom door. My dad did come back home, but he hasn't said a single word to me. I'm essentially living with two ghosts who used to be my parents, and I doubt they'll ever look at me the same again. I overheard my dad on the phone with my uncle, and I'm pretty sure I heard him say the words, "I don't know what I did wrong, raising her." That broke me all over again. I've been moved to a different bedroom now, the guest room. Part of it is because my room is still full of the reminders of my lie, the bouquets of flowers people sent, the get well cards, ugh. But I think the other reason is my mom can't stand to walk by my door and think about what I've done, so I sleep in the cold, empty guest room as a basically shunned presence in the house. There's talk of therapy and psychiatric evaluations and all that. I mean, obviously there's something deeply wrong with me. I'll cooperate with whatever. Honestly, I'm so numb at this point I have no fight left in me. So that's where things are. I have no friends, no trust left with my family, and possibly a court date in the future. I wake up and immediately hate that I woke up. I don't really have a reason to keep going, except that maybe somewhere deep down I feel like I should keep living and suffer for as long as possible to atone for what I did. I doubt anyone who read my story will feel sorry for me at this point, and I don't expect them to. I don't deserve sympathy or kindness. I'm actually considering printing out some of the hate messages, because everything they say about me, I already believe it. I am a horrible, worthless, toxic person. Sometimes I think my existence is nothing but a burden and a source of pain for everyone around me. M said to me in the park, "You need serious help." She's right. I do. I plan to get it, if only to make sure I never hurt anyone like this again. But deep down, I don't think I can ever forgive myself or find a will to truly live with this. This will probably be my last update. After I post this, I'm going to step away from the internet and the world for a while. Maybe a long while. Maybe, I don't know, maybe forever. I'm not saying I'm going to do anything drastic right this second, so please don't call emergency services or anything. I just mean I have nothing left. I've ruined everything.